Hi, lovely people. I I am recording this because I want to be with you in the live chat. I just felt so, I don't know, I didn't know what was going on there. I don't understand how people are swiping like this and it's not getting on the phone. So I don't know what kind of conglomeration they have, because I've seen people literally sitting in the dark. So it doesn't sound like they have the most advanced setup, should I say. And yet you see them touching a screen, but it's never showing up. So I don't know what's going on there. But I was definitely having my share of issues. And I don't know what happened, because when I first went to end that first one, you remember the first one where I didn't even know I was on? Still up there because I like to poke fun at myself. And I was able just to end that. I think what really threw us is when the screen froze, it did something and I couldn't get out of that darn thing. That was crazy. It was crazy. I had such nightmares. You guys have no idea. I had such nightmares that I was not going to be able to get it off. And I was going to have to be like really scared with my phone, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, that it was just be recording my life forever or something. I don't know. There was a little anxiety there. I felt I was never going to get it turned off. I don't know what the deal was with that. I mean, you guys were here with me. I shut the phone and it's still going. I don't know. And maybe the next time I'll try to... See, that's the thing, though. I want to use if I do go live, until my son gets here and sets up my Canon 80D behind that new computer that he built me, so that I can go live from that desktop. Till he gets that all set up for me, I have to use my iPhone. And I think the camera is much better in my iPhone than it is in my webcam on my laptop. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. But here's the thing. I don't know, and it seems like it's just me. Maybe not. I don't know. I feel so bad when something like that I bring up there is like disjointed, and I feel like, oh my gosh, like, what value did I bring? You know, like, okay, I answered some questions, but I just felt everything was so disjointed, and I'm about packing facts, cases into something, giving you something of real quality, and I just don't find that on a live. So I don't think I will ever do a case on a live. It may be fun to do a question and answer on a live, where we're not so worried about straying from the content a little and having a little bit of fun, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And I'm up for that, but I don't know how people pack cases in on lives, because it's distracting. And then if you have technology freezing up on you or something, it just throws you completely off what you're going to say. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Now, I just want to mention another thing about that book club. I have wanted to have... You guys don't understand. I bet you, if you go back in my Mommy Ramblings videos where I'm talking about other things, and I can't point you because I have like 600 of them, okay? There are ones that I'll say, oh, you know, I really wanted to have an online book club, but nobody ever cares. Nobody wants to do this with me. Never had one person say, oh, I will, I want to. No, not one. Mm-mm. And I used to talk about, oh, you know what podcast you should listen to? Dirty John. Never one comment on the Dirty John. So I'm just like, okay, nobody cares. I don't know. And then, like I said, that's the reason I didn't post that first video, because I'm like, well, who's going to care? They don't care about anything. And then suddenly the tide changed overnight. And I'm like, wow, there are people like me that are like-minded about true crime. So last night, I thought, you know what? Besides that podcast I wanted to always have, that I told you about the other time on the live, that nobody listened to me, I wanted to have an online book club type of thing. And I've been in an online book club before. It was with a smaller group of people. It wasn't true crime. But I wanted to do that. So I posed the question on the community feed in YouTube. Tremendous response, okay? So that I'm really happy about that. I couldn't believe it. I mean, within like a minute of posting it, I'm like looking, it's like 13 comments. Then it was like 49 comments. I don't even know. I think there's over 60 comments or something. Now there's probably even more. I haven't even checked it yet. There goes my computer. So, okay. And what is going on? This is just a joke, isn't it? What is this? What is that? Okay, it's not going to stop. Okay, and like a kid, it stopped the minute I walked over there. Okay, so happy Valentine's Day. Before I forget, happy Valentine's Day. And I also want to say a special hello to Zelda. That's her name, right? Zelda. I think that is, I'm not just saying her name twice. She's going through some stuff, and Zelda, I hope you're feeling better. And you know, you've got a lot of people here that do care about you. And like I said, if you need to talk, if things get really tough, you could always message me, and hopefully I will see the message. Sometimes I get messages so many different places, and they just come through. But if anybody, I mean, truly needs something, then just keep hounding me somewhere. And Linda, I heard back from Linda yesterday, and she was talking to me all about my video, but I'm like, Linda, I checked on you to see how your doctor's appointment went. I'm hoping that it went well, because she was telling me all about my video that made her laugh or something. So I'm glad that made her laugh, and I hope everything went well with the doctor. Linda, I sent you another message. And I know we had someone else. Who was it? Zelda? I don't know why I'm thinking Maria or Marie. See, my mind goes to mush now. But don't think I didn't forget you. To anybody that's having a heart... Oh my gosh. It's crazy, isn't it? Anybody that's having any issues out there or anything, I am thinking of you. I will say, you know, for everybody in the community that needs assistance, help, or prayers, I will just say the universal one, and it'll include everybody. So I'll cover the bases there. But for, what else was I going to say? What else was I going to say? Okay, so the book club. You see that's, I don't know why that is doing that. I have no idea. The book club. So I thought, it's funny, when my daughter found out I was doing this, she says, oh, Mom, are you going to be like that lady, the one that was hunting for the Golden State Killer? And I said, you know, why? She said, oh, I just thought. So I don't know. I keep trying to ask my daughter if she's involved in that case. I wish she would join the book club too. We'll see. She does book clubs too. She's still like on the New York, she added me to something about the New York Times. There's a podcasting club too that she added me to. I don't know. Speaking of my daughter, I told her yesterday, she used to do a knitting podcast, okay, and a mapping podcast. I don't know, it was called Maps because that's what she does professionally. She's an analyst for a transportation company, a major transportation company in Manhattan. So she does that. So her podcast was called like Charting Maps or something, but it was about knitting. Maybe that's why it wasn't so popular. I don't know. People didn't know what it was. There's this, we were talking about bloopers the other night. Well, I don't know, it had to be back like 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, because she was growing out a really short pixie. She was sitting in a chair and she went to get something and the chair just collapsed. I don't know what happened, and it's all on there. And she posted it because, like, she likes to poke fun at herself too. And I asked her yesterday, I said, where is that? Why do you want to know? I said, I don't know. I was thinking of just showing some bloopers, and I said, that one is just, you can't beat that one. So I found it. Hopefully I would have it added. But what was I going to say? So the book club, somebody asked me to do something on ADD. I do something on ADD every single time. This is what happens when you have ADD. The book club. So I thought, okay, well, why don't we start on that, since it's just come out, that Golden State Killer, I'll Be Gone in the Dark. And everybody seemed pretty on board for that. Some had already read it. Some have it on the Kindle. The question that I posed this morning is, since it's coming out on paperback on the 24th, I posed the question if we should wait until the 24th. And you can order it from Amazon, and get it in 2 days, right? So it wouldn't be that much of a holdup if someone wants to have the book in their hands. And I don't know, I have my iPad and everything, but for a book club, I prefer to have, I want the book in, oh my gosh, I want the book in my hand, and I think it's going to be easier for me to come on and talk about it, to have the actual book. So, and it's so funny because I looked, and that's a publisher that I work with, but they mostly send me children's books, even though some are branching out. I'm going to have to tell them, hey, I need some true crime books. I have to tell them. Because I started a new website. You guys know that. I secured my domain, but I don't have anything really up on the website yet. But I'm trying, and I have to get my email to my G Suite, but my email will be carolyn@truecrimechat.org, so that you don't have to send it to the Mommy Ramblings, and I can weed through that email, and then every email in that carolyn@truecrimechat.org will be there. But don't send it to me now, because I haven't set up the email either on my server, but I want to move it to my G Suite because that's just easier for me to be in Gmail. So I have to get that done today. There's just like a bunch of things you have to do with pointing the web servers and everything to show that you own the domain. It's so crazy. I really want to get that done today. All right. And I know, guys, you're asking me about shirts and merchandise and all that stuff. I will get to that, I promise you. But there are certain places you have to use on YouTube. There's a whole list of them. And what's nice, I think, is most of them will let you just design a bunch of different things and then put it kind of like in a little storefront. And then people can order what they want. And I don't have to order any inventory. I don't have to do any shipping. And it's usually like, I don't know, a 50-50 split. So while, yeah, I could order a bunch of stuff and, oh my gosh, it's not worth the hassle. It's so easy just to do it like that. And that way you don't have to have this is insane. I've got to go stop this. I have to check it. So absolutely no idea what's doing that, except that my husband was on there today doing something. And I guarantee you he put some kind of timer on there. I don't know what, if you guys know what the heck that noise is. My son hears it. He'll probably tell me what the heck it is. My son. Oh, and you guys were saying, who is that was talking to me about the chokehold during the live? That was my husband, not my son. If I told my son, make sure you have clothes on, you guys should be worried about me really, really bad. Okay, so where was I? So the book club. So let me know, you can let me know here if you want to be part of that book club. And I think that we will go through true crime books. And then somebody said, well, as long as it's an organized thing. And I think what we could do, depending on how my software, because I have that open broadcaster software, and then you have to pair it with, if you want video, different people on video, you have to use something like Zoom. But if you just want the call in, I don't need anything special for the call in. And now the guys are here. They just came here. Can you even believe this? And I wish I could show you where they are, because they're looking right at me, and they must be like, this lady is so whacked. She sits here and she talks to herself. Guy's looking right at me now. And I got flack for that I was complaining about that when people are working on my house. I'm sorry, I'm not complaining in that way. It's very awkward to have someone staring at you like you're insane, and that I'm talking to myself, because I'm sure that's what they think. They're like, and you know how I'm with my hands, they must be like, she's gone. We should call somebody for her. That's a shame. That's a shame. Those boys, little boys, she has two little boys. That's a shame. That's a shame. Anyway, well, I'm just going to go for it. But no, they just happen to be working right here. Out of everywhere they could be working, they're working exactly perpendicular to me, and they can look right in the sliding doors at me. He's literally 6 feet past the sliding door that's over there. And they didn't show. The funny thing is, they said they're going to be late. The minute I went to take the video, they pulled in. Okay. Anyway, so about the book club, yes. So, yes, what I think we could do is, say, okay, I don't know how long the chapters are or something. I don't have the book yet. I have to get it. So I'm going to order it, but I have to pre-order it. Like I said, it's the 24th. But if you guys wanted to go ahead, then I'll order it in the hardcover. I just want to know if anybody else is going to wait for the paperback or not. Let me know. If somebody else is going to wait for the paperback, I'd rather have the paperback, just because it's easier for me to flip it around and all of that good stuff. But like I said, if you guys are all like, no, we don't want to wait for the paperback, so then I'll order the hardcover. But just let me know if any of you that want to be in the book club are not going to get it on a Kindle and, are going to want the paperback, let me know. And then, you've got to be kidding me. It's going to go again, right? I don't know what that is. What could that be? I went on the monitor. There's nothing there, like nothing saying that something needs. I have no idea what that is. I guarantee you that's some stupid thing my husband enabled on there that's telling me either shut me down or whatever. Okay. So yeah, let me know about that. And what I'd like to do then is, what would be nice on YouTube? They really need, I always say this, there's this company that we get stuff from, like our vitamins, and I always say, they need women to tell them what they need, and, because it's like, I don't know who's doing the marketing or whatever, but I'll tell you what YouTube needs. YouTube needs to create a way to go on a video, to do a video where you only let members in. Members only, and nobody else can come in, and no one else can view your video. And I know there's private, and you can send everybody a link, but it should just be an easier way. Instead of having to send everybody the link, everybody should have a little, maybe a password that they enter, and you don't have to send out the link. It could be listed as a public video. It doesn't have to be any special thing, but it's just password. And you just enter it, something that we have, and you go in. And that way you don't have to worry about having trolls in there. You don't have to worry about anything like that. And you can have just everybody that's in the book club go in the video, go on log into this video, and then we can talk. And then if I put a conference call line up there, we're not going to have to, because people are like, oh my gosh, if you have a conference call line, somebody could be calling in. But first of all, I know how to mute someone on a conference call, and I know how to disconnect them. So what are they going to get out? 2 words before I do that? But, yeah, I mean, if we had that, and then all the members could. This is insane. This is insane. So where was I? See what I mean? Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, then if we could have that close, so you guys can send me ideas, and maybe you'll say, well, it won't be that hard if we do it this way, because I know somebody said, well, I just don't want everybody just shouting in there. No, we're not gonna have everybody shouting in there. We won't do that. But I think if we read, let's say 1 and 2, chapters 1 and 2, and then I came on and gave my views and then opened it up to the conference calls. Or, if you don't, I mean, if you live like in New Zealand and you can't call in or something, and I don't know if there's free international calling, somebody could find out about that. I know there's there's a toll-free number in the United States where people can call in on the conference call, because I said I've used that for a team I manage. But if they couldn't get on there, then they could type in, or what other way could, let me know about international, you guys. All right, you can tell me what you know about that. But that is something I was really glad to see the response. And so I need to know about if people want to wait for the paperback books, and if people have input on the format of that. Okay, so let me know that. Let me get some more coffee here. Okay, yesterday I'm getting messages, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. First of all, somebody said, Carolyn, you put a comment? Oh no, somebody commented about you on Armchair Detective, that you have the text, or I have the phone numbers, or I don't know what, I have to look back on it. I have something that I know for sure, and I have the numbers of their burner phones, NK and Chris, and I'm like, how does somebody get that from my video? I know it was discombobulated with the questions, but did it really, does anybody else think that I said that I have their phone numbers, or that I have messages from their burner phones? Because I didn't say that. I said I'm very sure they had burner phones, and I'm very sure they took those burner phones and threw them off a cliff at some time. That's what I said. And I said I'm very sure that they were smart enough to do that. Well, I think manipulative enough, and I think NK was definitely the mastermind of that. Here, you gotta go get these. I probably bought them with the Anadarko gift cards. But had those, and I just think there should have been, I don't know, more investigating to see in the house if there was any trace, or if there was a manual anywhere, or something on those phones, and they're off a cliff somewhere. So hi 69, if you could go around and see, can you imagine if somebody found them and they could bring them back to life after all this time? Who knows? Okay. Anyway, that is what I said. And I don't even recognize the name. It's not one of the regular ones that ask me questions all the time that posted in there. So maybe it was a lurker. I'm telling you, I hear about things like this. There's like armies out there. I have a Facebook message, and I'm like, what? And they're like, what's with that comment on the Armchair Detective? Did I miss that? And I'm like, did you miss what? I didn't say that. So yeah, I don't know. It's like the last time that they said that somebody said I was calling the Armchair Detective, and I didn't do that either, or messaging him. I don't know what it was. But yeah, the burner phones, let's just clear up what I said. That is what I just said now. And let me know if you heard me say that whatever they're commenting about. The other thing is, I also got wind that I don't understand, and maybe it's just the country barrier, but I don't think, I've never said anything bad about the Armchair Detective. I haven't said anything bad at all, okay? Some of you have said things in here, but I can't control what someone else says. I just said, I asked him for help the other night I said, can somebody go in there and get him, because he was here earlier. I asked him when we had a question that came out about something that he had on his channel. I have said that I get a bunch of emails asking me to look at things that he's posted. Okay? Those are the ways that I've mentioned him. I've never slandered him. I never said anything. Okay? I want to make sure I know. I listened to the video over again, and when I said something about there was it a question, or yeah, somebody asked me something about some guy that came forward and said he was a security guard, and I said, oh, is it the same guy that someone said was in a chat in a group and said, yeah, he just came out of nowhere and he said, well, I shook Chris's hand and I wished him luck finding his kids. And I said, if that's the guy you're talking about, I think he's a fraud. I don't know if somebody thought I meant Armchair Detective was a fraud. I'm talking about the guy that I was told about or asked about that says he worked with Chris and that there's a little security station. Because I said, first of all, I don't see any kind of security station in the drone footage at Survey 319. I don't see that at all. Second, I said, wouldn't he have been one of the first people that was questioned by the CBI? If there was a security building there? This is just my mind. That's how it works. I am from New York. I'm a natural skeptic. So I said, something's not adding up here. And remember, I said my catchphrase, right? It's not adding up here. I have to, okay. Anyway, I don't know whether somebody misconstrued when I said he's a fraud, that they thought I said that Armchair Detective was a fraud, but I want to clear that up because I did not say that. I'm talking about somebody that came into a chat room and a chat and said something. That's what I said. Left to walk his dog, and then we couldn't get out of live. And I said to somebody, where is the Armchair Detective? Can someone tell me how to get off live? Because it's not going. I don't think he would have been able, I don't think anybody would have been able to help me, because I really think it was a freaking glitch, because I got out of the other live fine. I think when that screen froze, something happened. And I couldn't even tell you how I got out of there. I never thought I was going to get out of there. And that's what I said about him. I said, can someone get him? Okay. But apparently, I'm copying. I've heard that I'm copying him. I'm copying him because I have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea when I do my videos, which I've had forever. And I don't know, because I'm always drinking either coffee or tea. Okay. So I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And what I don't get is that almost every single person that's making videos like this, talking videos, whether they're live or they're recorded, is drinking something. And it's usually in a mug. So I don't understand why. I heard before that he said Scott Reich was copying, and now I got called out as copying. I'm not a copier. I'm a leader. But no, I don't know. So, oh, Mommy Remley's calling you for copying his mug. And I think maybe I just spent, when he came in and somebody said, Armchair Detective's in the room, and I said, hey, Armchair Detective. I was very nice. You guys heard me. Because I'm not threatened by anyone. I'm not. And there's room enough for everybody, and everybody's got their own style. And I've even gotten emails, oh my gosh, so-and-so was copying you. You should go over there. They're copying you. You can't copy this. This is an original. No. Yeah. You know what I mean? Someone can, what is it? Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Isn't that what they say? I don't know. But if someone wants to try it, but it's not going to be me. And I'm secure in me. So yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of room, I think, for everyone on YouTube to do their own thing, but this is definitely my own thing. A lot of people ask me, do I watch this person? Do I watch that person? I really don't have time. This is another thing. You see all this, my notebook is full. I spend a lot of time researching. That's where I was going with this whole thing. I know I spend time rambling, but you also get a lot of facts with me. And my other catchphrase, facts, not fluff. So, and I do feel bad, like I said, if I don't bring you enough information, or if I make a slight error. You know, like I said, Crystal was still married to her husband, and she's not. She was divorced. That whole night I was like freaking after that. I was like, oh my gosh. But I know to others it's no big deal. And to others it's no big deal if they don't say much of anything. To me it is, and that's just my style. That's okay. But I spend so much time doing research, I don't have time to just go around from channel to channel as much as I would like to, because I have to spend time when I do watch things. It's either documentaries or stuff on cases that I want to cover, like how I did the staircase. I binge watched that. I did do the Ted Bundy tapes, even though I told you guys about that, but that's where my time goes. So anyway, I didn't only get called out yesterday, apparently, for just the coffee cup, along with Scott. I got called out for merch. Or it was, okay, you guys can go back in my videos, right? When we talked about merch, and even those of you that were emailing me, and I said to you guys, oh, I know who I had to say hi to. Hi, Lori. Lori's recovering on the couch. So it comes back to me eventually. I'm okay. Hi, Lori. Hope you're feeling better. Lori's been trying to help with logos and things, and she's been doing a lot of work, and I've been dragging my feet because I'm trying to get something made into a sketch, but I haven't even done that yet. If any of you know, and I know I'm sure I have all of the programs, because I have Photoshop, what the heck do I have, Elements, and I just want to see if I take one of the photos of myself, and I have some new ones too, either with my glasses or because everybody's like, you can't lose the glasses. Don't worry, I won't lose the glasses. And then there's this very nice woman, I think it's Pamela or Patricia, she had my back, but the woman that wrote the first comment, she wasn't making fun of me. She just said something like, oh no, don't get contacts. What are we going to do without your... I have contacts anyway, and I have to wear these right now because they're progressive. But she was like, you can't lose the glasses. You know where these glasses are from? I have a whole drawer of them. From the Dollar Tree. Okay? That's where they're from, the Dollar Tree. I buy them like 6-7 pairs at a time. I'm a big spender. But I don't really need reading glasses, okay? And I'm going to the eye doctor next week. He'll get me the new progressives. They'll probably take, I don't know if he'll have any in right there. But I said I wouldn't need reading glasses. But to make you all happy, I'll take my really expensive frames here, and I could just pop out the lenses. Because you have to get fake ones. I'll have to get fake ones. So, okay, to make everybody happy, don't worry. But that's all she was saying. And you guys are so loyal that I guess Pamela or Patricia was like, why would you write that? What if she spends all night obsessing about, like, and I said, thank you, Pamela or Patricia. Pamela or Patricia or Peggy. It was with a P, see? And I said, thanks so much for, and I think her last name began with a W, but I said, thanks so much for having my back. I so appreciate it. But I think if you reread that, she was just saying she doesn't want me to lose that little shtick that I have. You know, that's my trademark, apparently. So don't worry about it. I will, I'll invest in those, in a stockpile of the Dollar Tree glasses, and we'll be all set. Okay. So back to Lori and others that were emailing me about t-shirts and things. When I do it, I will go, I think, with a company. I don't want to order any inventory or anything like that. I just want it has to be a YouTube provider approved, whatever, and they have a list of them, but it's going to be one because somebody said, oh, can we get aprons? We can get anything we want. We can just put it up there. You can design whatever you want, and then people can just order their own thing, and that's how it works. Well, apparently now, yesterday he was talking about doing something that he thinks he has to order inventory, and he's got to figure out, okay, all right, we want pens. Now, if I was like that, I'd say, oh, now he wants pens because he heard about my eyeliner pens? But who would say that? What channel that has merch is going to say that another channel copied me? So I don't know why that I got the rap. I was really getting called out yesterday, okay, over there. And I took a look, and somebody sent him a shirt, and he pulled it off, and he goes, oh yeah, now Mommy Ramblings, she's gonna want shirts, Mommy Ramblings. And I'm like, what did I ever do to you that you're doing this? I don't know. I think I've been nothing but nice, but I got called out like crazy yesterday, and I said to my husband, oh my gosh, so now if I do get that merch store, no matter when, he's going to say that I copied him. But does he not go on other channels and see that most channels have merch, and that's the way it is, and nobody's copying anybody because you have your own stuff on it? I don't think, maybe he thinks that he's the first channel to think about selling merch. I don't know. Can somebody enlighten me, please? Because I'm lost. But if you did you see that yesterday, any of you? I was like, wow. And then he'd pick up their Mommy Ramblings again. She had coffee. It was tea. And that's where I'm going with it. I had tea, and I know he's in the UK, and they drink tea. And so I was being cordial. They said, Armchair Detective is in the room. So I said, hey, Armchair Detective, how are you? I've got my tea. But I don't know whether he thinks that I meant I've got my tea because I'm copying you. I need to be enlightened, okay? Please, and would you please, somebody that watches, tell him that Mommy Ramblings is not copying him. Mommy Ramblings has had coffee and has had tea since I've been here. I don't know, since as long as I can remember. But on videos, I always have something to drink. I talk too much. But he doesn't have to worry about me because we have two different styles. We have two different styles completely. Which is, I bring you to the next thing. I've got so much stuff here. But what we're going to do first, just want to go over just a couple of things in the Watts case. And I want to tell you what I'm doing. I'm actually going through the actual video by the police of the pre-interview. And oh my gosh, I'm trying to put subtitles and things on interviews, and I eventually want to do Ronnie's. Is that helpful to you guys to do that? And then I just wanted to put it in a file. If it's not, then don't worry about it. I won't worry about that. But I just thought some people had a hard time hearing what was said. And you know what? When I was going through it, that's where it's bringing to me. I heard a few things that I hadn't heard before, and maybe you haven't heard them either. Maybe you have, and I'm not all the way through it, but I just wanted to bring you just a couple key points. And this is from the pre-test interview before the polygraph with Tammy and Chris. So she asked, how do you say Shanann's name? And he did that shenanigans, and he said that's how she always tells people, and we heard Nicole do it too, shenanigans. And she said, well, did her parents call her that? And he said her parents named her Shanann. They put the apostrophe, but they call her Shannon. And she's named after Sha-na-na. Did you guys know she's named after Sha-na-na? So I guess her parents were big Sha-na-na fans, right? Which is kind of strange because I think, when was Sha-na-na on the air? I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can even remember that. I remember it vaguely. I mean, not that I'm hearing it, but I don't even know when that was on the air. When the heck was that on the air? Sha-na-na. Is that those guys that look like greasers? I don't know. I think it was on NBC. I couldn't even tell you the year. Okay, so I had not heard that she was named after Shannon, or if I did, I forgot it. And then he was talking about his grandmother, and she said something, oh, because he went to the Rain Man name, and she said, oh, so you're really good with remembering numbers and things like that. He said, no, not with that, but when I was a kid, my mother's mother used to quiz me on state capitals and things while we were waiting for my sister Jamie to get out of medical school. And then he said that he used to go to her house, he said every day, every afternoon, and she would cook him lunch and he would help her with things, and that she had since passed away, but she, I guess, was German by her nationality, and she would cook him things that he remembered, like Hungarian goulash and stuff like that. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to go over is supposedly that, and some are not calling her such a good friend, but that friend of Shanann's has said that the whole business about Shanann rescuing Chris from his mother is just about that the mother favored Jamie over Chris, and I think she used the word neglected Chris. I don't, neglected. I don't know what that entails, neglected. Okay. What the heck is that? I'm sorry, it looks like they're I thought they were putting the wrong color siding up on my house, but that was scary for a minute, okay? I thought they were putting beige siding up on my White House. Okay. It's not. It was like a slatted platform against the house, and in the sunlight it looked beige and it looked like slats of siding. I'm like, what are they doing? You can't be serious. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, where was I? So that she was neglected or something, and I think she means neglected, devoid of attention and stuff, because she was more concerned with the daughter, and that he felt slighted, and Shanann came and paid him the attention that he needed or that he desired. So that's basically the crux of that. And what else? Okay, so now I want to go and give you an update about our antifreeze nurse. I cannot find anything yet about that February 13th court date, so I think it was probably postponed, but I did find a little more information about the case. I just want to go over just a little bit. Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. So, okay, it's wrong notes. That's the wrong notes, people. Let me get it here. While I have it on top, Kelsey Berreth, let's quick updates on there. Crystal, whatever they're calling this woman now, Crystal Jean Kenny. Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, she's about 25 weeks pregnant, which would put her conceiving sometime at the very end of August, early September. And if we remember that he was looking for he was soliciting someone to commit murder the end of September into October. So did she find out about the pregnancy, even though she says it's the ex-husband's? Did she find out about the pregnancy, and then Patrick put this plan into action? We're going to find out more about the evidence there. Will they bring out the pregnancy at the preliminary? What do we have here? We have a preliminary hearing. We have a preliminary hearing on the 19th. So will the prosecution bring that out about the pregnancy? Use that as a motive? Was he looking to not pay child support? Like I said, was there a custody battle that was ensuing? What is going to be the motive here, okay? Did he have this new baby on the way? What was going on there? He was selling off, he raises dogs, right? But he was selling dogs, but he was also selling off, the heck was he selling off? Something else prior to all this. when this was going down. So I don't know whether he was doing that to get money or because whatever it was. And that's really about what there is on that. We have to wait for the 19th, which I know everybody is chomping at the bit for. Okay, and then let's go to our Missouri jail nurse. Okay, Amy Murray. I can't find anything about her February 13th court date, but I did find a little more about what happened. She had told investigators that she went on a McDonald's run with her 11-year-old son and the 2 dogs at 11:48 p.m. I guess they were just, well, I don't even know, was this a school night? Was it a weekend? I should look that up, but no matter what it was, 11:48. You ready? You feel like something? Let's go. Take the Xbox. But apparently it was a lie. She did go to McDonald's. They got the surveillance footage. But it was earlier than what she said. And they found half-eaten sandwiches on the kitchen counter. So her whole thing that she went to McDonald's, came back, and the house was in flames and she couldn't go in was a lie. It was her neighbors that called 911 at, at 1:30 a.m. Mm-hmm. Oh, they went earlier. Okay, they went at 11:48 p.m. Okay, she had told them they went even later. Okay, even later, because I don't know what she told them. 12:30 a.m. They just felt like, hey, let's go. So they got the surveillance camera, and she was there at 11:48 p.m. There were half-eaten sandwiches. I don't know what kind. They think they would clarify. Is it a quarter pounder? Was there cheese or no cheese? No onions, ketchup, whatever. They didn't tell us. They just said there was half-eaten sandwiches on the, or a sandwich on the counter, showing that she had been in the house after they went to McDonald's at 11:48, and that the neighbors called 911 at about 1:30 a.m. Let's see here. A little more information about the love interest, Claypool. He was 21 and he had an accomplice that was 17 when they broke in through a window of the 72-year-old man's home that won the Missouri State Lottery in 1998, and it was 1.7 million, I think it was, that he won. So 2 years later, they expected to break in, it was 2000, to break in and find, mad fat stacks of cash there. Fat stacks. So these genius criminals are thinking that, okay, he won this 2 years ago, but I'm sure he's keeping it in cash around the house. Old guys don't trust banks. He probably has a bunch of glass jars. He might even have a map. Some might be buried in the yard. We don't know. But they expected to at least find $10,000 in cash in the house. You know what they found and took? $36. They committed this crime and killed a man, okay, for $36. So anyway, they fatally stabbed him and they left a Bible on his chest, and his granddaughter testified that they will forever be tortured by what they did to her grandfather, to the family, okay, for $36. However, Amy, the nurse, is growing tired of her husband. So he's on a trip in Nebraska, and they're listening to the recorded conversation. That's what he was doing. He was on a recent trip, and she didn't want him to come back. She told Claypool she wished he didn't come back. I really hope he doesn't come back from Nebraska. Can't stand having him around. And she said she would get him an attorney to see if she could get him an early release, because I believe he's up for parole around something like 2024. Anyway, she takes care of the husband with the antifreeze and then the fire that she thought would cover her tracks, and tells him, well, now that he's out of the picture, it's good. It's good. We can go on with our plans, get married, and I'm going to look for an attorney to get you out of here because, get you an early release. That's what I'm going to do. Until they discovered the phone calls, and so everything looked suspicious over there, and they started following her around and realized that there were a bunch of recorded calls. And the relationship started with, a little baggage on both sides. She had a husband, and he was, in jail for murder, and there was no guarantee he was going to be paroled. So, that's the baggage they're bringing. She got married to the husband that she murdered, or allegedly, in 2003, and at the funeral there was a fund set up, and she got lots of sympathy, and there was a fund set up in her husband's name, I guess, to take care of her and her son. Probably one of those GoFundMes. Okay. And what else? So I have any other news on her? Let me see. The name of the man that he killed is Donald Harwich. That's about it. That's all I have on her. Okay. So, in a case that could play out like the Hollywood movie, the classic movie, A Double Indemnity from the 1940s, we have the trio Denise and Michael Williams, and we have Brian Winchester, right? So, if I seem a little bit weird, I have one in my kitchen window looking at me, and another one right over here on the sliding glass door, and I feel very awkward, and very, very awkward. Okay, they're putting up scaffolding, so they'll be looking right at me. Okay, here they come. So this could play out like a Hollywood movie, and this is incredibly awkward. Mike and Denise met in high school. They were high school sweethearts. He was on the football team. She was a cheerleader. They married. They had a daughter years later. It was quite a bit later because they had her on a Mother's Day, and there happened to be press at the hospital. If I can get the clip, I'll put it in the video. They did record, they went to the room after she was born, and they had those little clips like with the New Year's baby and stuff like that. They did a little clip like that, which, sometimes is ironic because then the people end up being in some higher profile case, right? Okay, now they're right here, putting up ladders. Okay, so they're probably like, what is this woman? What is she doing? Okay. Anyway, they're married, they have the daughter, and I guess things started to go sour, and this Brian Winchester was the husband's best friend, and he ended up being, a good friend of both of them, obviously. And somewhere along the line, they're taking out insurance policies, and Brian Winchester just happens to be an insurance salesman, so he, helps 6 months before this disappearance happened. He goes ahead and draws up a $1 million life insurance policy for Michael, the husband. Now Michael tells Brian that, what, Denise and I are we're not intimate anymore. And I'm suspecting something. And that's coupled with Denise saying that, well, at least one of the life insurance policies was going to lapse, and what were they going to do? So they had to move fast. So they had, Mike getting suspicious, and the life insurance policy lapsing, and it was almost $2 million with 3 policies. So they had to move fast. So Mike was an avid duck hunter, and he would go on this lake in Florida, and this was outside of Tallahassee, a little bit west of Tallahassee, and it was Lake Seminole. A lot of alligator activity in this lake, okay? They went out on a boat, and thinks that if you go down in waders, it's like an automatic drowning. So your waders fill up, you're done. You're not going to do anything but just push him off the boat. So at one point, these guys are having a little fun with me because they are just standing here yakking to each other while they're looking at me. So anyway, at one point, this is like one of those, if somebody has like a social anxiety or something that make you do this, like, no, you just got to sit there and film, not worry about them. I'm trying not to. Not that I have a social anxiety, I'm just trying to say like cognitive behavioral therapy kind of thing. If I did, because they're literally just stop, like not doing anything, just looking at me. I can't even look at them, but they can be staring at me, but I feel awkward looking over there at them. Anyway, okay, so we have, where are we? I don't know. So they have the life insurance policies, they're lapsing, and they go on this fishing trip. Mike is wearing waders and he's wearing a jacket, and he stands up in the boat, and Brian pushes him over. Well, he goes in the water and he starts to panic, and then Brian's panicking too because it's not going as easy as he thought it was just going to go. So he doesn't really understand what to do, and he's freaking, and he had kind of a Chris Watts moment. It's like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. He's taken off his waders. He's taken off his jacket. He looks like he's going to survive this. He's going to think, why did I push him in the water? What am I going to do? You know, he's having a real freak out moment. There goes the computer. Having a real freak out moment. So he takes a gun and he shoots him. And then, I guess the lake was not that deep, and he's able to get him. But he leaves the waders and the jacket in the lake, because that's going to look good for the alligators eating him, right? Because, oh, well, there's his waders and his jacket. He must have been eaten by alligators. He drags the body to the shore, puts it in the back of his truck, and he'll bury it hours later. Meanwhile, you know, Mike doesn't return home from this duck hunting trip, and people going out to search for him. There was a lot of alligators in the lake observed when they went for the search. So they're thinking, yeah, it could possibly be an alligator attack. Alligators have attacked people and they've attacked pets, but they usually don't do something so cleanly that there's not a trace of it. But when they couldn't find anything, they found the waders, they found the jacket, they found the boat, they found the trailer. You know, they found his truck. They're thinking, okay, well, gators, but it was very suspicious. Someone came up with the idea, you know, maybe the gators, for some reason, took whatever remains and took it back to some den or something. But still, there was always suspicion, always. And it was a small town. So the wife lived under this glare of suspicion. And the mother-in-law, her mother-in-law, Mike's mother, was very suspicious, and she prepared a 27 single-spaced, handwritten, you know, notes of evidence of why some things weren't adding up. She sent that along to the governor, and she sent him something every day, a letter about this, every single day for 9 years. She wanted this looked into. Something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Fast forward now. Mike doesn't return. They can't find anything. So Denise petitions to have him, you know, declared casualty of this alligator accident so that she can move on with her life. And she does that by marrying his best friend, Brian Winchester. Things aren't so great in the marriage, no. Apparently, I think Brian's a sex addict, is from what I gather from the trial, and other things. And Brian's been married before. Yes, he has kids with his ex-wife, and they kind of both couples did things together, and then he got divorced, and he was able to move on from that divorce. He married Denise, and then they were happy, maybe for a few years. I don't know. I mean, happy. I mean, they were together. They married in 2005, but by 2012, things were not going well. And Denise wanted a divorce, but Brian didn't want to give her a divorce. He couldn't. No, I'll go for help. I'll go for help for the sex addiction. I'll go for help for everything. I don't want to say too much stuff out loud with these guys and they get the wrong thing. Okay. So he promises all this stuff, but she's like, no, it's not good enough. We're done, mister, we're done. He can't handle it, okay? He cannot handle it. It's like 4 years of limbo, okay? He's not going to give this divorce. So I guess she's just like, whatever, buddy. Maybe she hadn't found the right person to move ahead with, and she didn't care if he was protracted or whatever. She was going to probably live her own life. Until one day, he hears from a judge that orders the appraisal of the house that they own together. So now he thinks, okay, wait, now something's going to happen. Now something's speeding it along. I was coasting and I was okay, but now something's speeding along. So one day, shortly after that, Denise is backing out of her driveway, going to work at Florida State. She's an accountant, okay? She is, and ironically, her husband is a real estate appraiser who's deceased now, right? And her current husband is in insurance. So she's got this big Chevy Suburban, 3 rows of seats, right? She's driving down the highway. She's probably tuning in her favorite song. Yeah, just driving down. Now my dishwasher is doing the draining thing. Okay. So anyway, I'll talk over the drain of the dishwasher. Of the sink, actually. So she's driving down the road, right? And she's seeing something coming over the 3rd row of the seats in the back of the Suburban. Who the heck is that? What the heck? Brian, what the freak? So he's coming over the 3rd row, he's over the 2nd row, and then he's in the passenger seat. And she's like, what the freak? And he's like, I can't give you that divorce. I'm going to kidnap you instead. And he puts a gun to her ribs, and he says, you drive on this route. Well, she told investigators. I didn't listen to him at first. No. And then I just decided to pull into a CVS parking lot. Now, I don't know why when she was at the CVS parking lot, she just didn't bolt out of the car, but she didn't. I guess in one way she wasn't scared enough to follow him on the route and, be afraid he'd kill her, but then she was afraid when she pulled into the CVS. Maybe she should have just taken him to McDonald's and said, look, why don't you forget about this? We'll talk about this. Oh, let's talk about this over some Big Macs, and you want a Quarter Pounder? You can get a Quarter Pounder. You want Happy Meal? Okay. And I'll get you Sunday, and then we'll talk about it. But she went to CVS. Really, what does CVS have to offer? Not too much. I think she would have been better off going to McDonald's, but that's just me. 45 minutes they're in the CVS parking lot. She's talking him down. I think she could have done it a lot quicker at any type of a fast food place, because a lot of times people open up over food, especially comfort food, maybe a Cracker Barrel, but I don't think that they don't have a drive-thru or anything, so she couldn't go there. Just something really good, she probably knew which was his favorite fast food, whatever. I don't know. I just think it would have been better. Milkshake even. She would go CVS, so it took her 45 minutes to talk him down, right? She gets him to talk down. He says, look, I can't go on without you. I have no hope in my life, nothing. He brought the gun apparently to kill himself, and then she turns to him and says, are we both going to die today? And he says, no, just you, according to her, okay? No, just you are. So she talks him down, and then she says, I'll drive you back to your vehicle. Okay, all right. I don't know if they stop for something, even a Dunkin' Donuts coffee or something, right? Just to kind of let it go, I don't know. I don't think so. She drove him back to his car. And then she drives him to the car, and he's probably like, okay, please, no hard feelings. You promise, no hard feelings. I'm just having a really bad time. I can't think of losing you, please. It's just really hard for me, really, really hard. And she's probably like, yeah, don't worry. I'm not telling anybody. She told him, I'm not going to tell anybody. Your secret's safe with me. I understand, yeah, whatever she's telling him, okay? So as she gets back to his vehicle, he remembers that he forgot a few things in the back when he was back there, waiting to climb over the seats. And so he's going to gather them up now. And it's nothing really that just a few things. Just a tan sheet, And there's another sheet made of a sort of plastic material. Spray bottle of bleach, and a tool. So he gathers it all up, and he's on his way. Well, they get in the car and they're driving, and he comes up alongside of her at a stoplight, and he's like, trying to get her attention. Oh, I'm sorry. He's apologizing to her through the, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And she's like, yeah, okay. She drives right off to the sheriff's department. And apparently he probably went on his merry way thinking like, yes, I acted like a jerk, but she forgave me anyway. And meanwhile, what are those lights behind me? She goes and gets an order of protection for her daughter and herself, fearing for her life as someone under domestic violence, under threat of the victim of domestic violence. So she gets this protection order, and she says, he kidnapped me today, and I fear for my daughter's life. I fear for my life. Meanwhile, she's been living under this suspicion for 16 years that she killed her husband or had something to do with it. So they go and arrest Brian. Now, she doesn't think that, well, if Brian really has nothing to live for and I have him arrested, what he has on me. And Brian, I guess, didn't think enough to say, I guess he really believed her to say, hey, you tell anybody, these lips are going to start talking. But this is that whole NK thing, okay? You see what happens? These people were married, and then betrayal. People's mouths can start talking at any time. And living in the shroud of suspicion all this time really wasn't something she enjoyed. But now they've got Brian. Now he's facing a kidnapping charge, okay? But the investigators say, you know what? Because there's been this suspicion regarding this disappearance of Mike. So there's an interrogation, an interview with Denise. I'm going to try to get the video and link it, where she says they try to crack her. They try to crack her to get to admit to something, because they want either one of them to admit something, because they know one of them's had something to do with this. And here's another case where they're going to let somebody off the hook for something if they rat out the other one, okay? Very common. She won't crack. She won't crack.
I was calling my sister, and this person starts climbing out of the very back, and I couldn't tell at first who it was, but then immediately I knew who it was. But I was screaming, and the phone helped me. I didn't know if she had picked up yet or not. And then he grabbed the phone, so I don't know if he turned it off. I don't know how. I never saw the phone again. He, was up and grabbing me, and he pulled my face pretty hard, and he goes, he's cussing, and he pulled out a gun, like a gun, not a hunting gun, but like a gun that you would kill someone with, and he put it right here in my ribs. So like I'm driving, and he's right here, and he kept saying, I just want to talk to you, I just want to talk to you, because he's been emailing me, texting me. I blocked him off everything, trying to get me to stop the divorce. So then he was like, I had to do this because you won't answer my texts or my calls. Please just call the divorce off. I've lost everything, blah, blah, blah. And then as we were talking, I was just kind of agreeing with whatever he was saying. And I was like, I know that you love me, and he's recently lost his son. His son has decided to move in with, anyway, he had joint custody, and now he doesn't. And so he said, I've lost my son, I've lost you, I have nothing to live for. And I was like, you could get us all back if you'll just turn your life around, because he was a Christian at one point. And I was like, if you'll just turn back to the Lord. So the whole time I'm turned this way, I'm buckled in, but he's calm, he's calming down. And so, but the gun's still right there, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And he's like, what am I doing? I could tell he was, and I was like, I don't know. I know you want to talk to me, but this is not the way to do it. I know. What have I done? It's like he kind of woke up. Like, what have I done? What have I done?
He cracks. He cracks. He cracks, admits he put that gun right in the guy's face, blew him up, blew him away. Now, the deal they made with him was that if he did this, if he told of her involvement in this, about all the dirty laundry, the insurance policies, the plot of over 9 months to do this, the way it escalated when the insurance policy was going to lapse, and all of that, and where Mike was buried at the end of this road where they found him, still wearing his wedding ring. This whole thing. There's even a call years before this from Brian's ex-wife that came out during the trial, where she confronted Denise about this, and Denise did not deny. She didn't say anything, but the prosecution said it's what she didn't say that is all that needs to be said. But anyway, so now they're telling her he's singing like a canary, and we're indicting you on first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder of your husband, Mike, back in 2000. So it takes about 2 years, I believe, to get to trial, and that trial just happened in the fall of 2018, okay? Anyway, they put her on the stand. The prosecutor's saying she's cold as ice, she's calculating, she doesn't even flinch, she doesn't even shed a tear when the guy's on the stand telling about, how they conspired to murder her husband.
The man was murdered, and they blamed it on alligators for 17 years.
What happened to Mike Williams would have stayed a mystery if his best friend and wife's secret lover hadn't started talking.
Denise and I were best friends. We were Bonnie and Clyde. We were partners in crime.
It was part of a deal. Tell prosecutors what happened to Mike Williams, where to find his body, and Winchester would not be charged with his murder.
We felt like that as long as neither one of us talked, that nobody would ever find out what happened.
Mike Williams vanished just 1 day before his 6th wedding anniversary. He and his wife Denise met in high school. He was a football player, she was a cheerleader.
There they were, this seemingly very perfect couple.
Searchers spent 6 weeks looking for Mike.
Law enforcement and friends and family combing the lake looking for him. They found the boat, his truck, the trailer, that was all there.
I got up in the helicopter. One of the things that I noticed, there were very large alligators swimming all around this area.
People are attacked by alligators, but you never hear of someone who's just vanished, eaten whole by an alligator.
That's what you believed happened to Mike?
Yes, I firmly believe that.
All right. And now a trial would finally reveal the truth.
We're here in the state of Florida versus Williams, 2018.
Denise Williams had been charged with murder 17 years after her husband disappeared.
Raise your right hand, please, sir.
Winchester said he was the trigger man.
And he was in the water. I shot him.
But it was all Denise's idea.
We wanted to be together, and we weren't going to let anything stop that.
When you shot Mike Williams with a 12-gauge shotgun, was Denise Williams standing there with you?
No, she wasn't. She was in my head behind me.
The question is, would a jury believe Denise was the mastermind behind Mike's murder?
He's saying she's cold, calculated, manipulative. Now, his mother's in the courtroom thinking, okay, she's finally going to get justice for her son. The jury is out only, I think it was 6 hours or 8 hours. It was very quick. They came back. She's guilty, and then she's sentenced to life in prison. He had an immunity deal that was like the most carefully drawn up immunity deal. He had he had got 20 years for kidnapping, which is less than it normally would be. Plus they're going to let this slide completely, even though he admitted to shooting his friend in the face. She is sentenced, she gets life in prison, and plus she has a couple other charges that also carried life, so she has a mandatory life sentence with that first conviction, but she's sentenced. And Mike's mother is asked, if she's happy about this. How can you be happy? She said she doesn't have her son, but But she, okay. But she said that the thing that did bring her a little bit of happiness was that Denise is always very concerned with her appearance, and she said, you know, she was in a bad dress. I think she was in her prison garb. And her hair really needed a dye job, and that did bring her some happiness. So good. Cheryl got some happiness after everything, and a little bit, as you know, it doesn't bring her son back, but she gets to bury her son now. Not, you know, what she wanted to ever be doing as a mother, but yeah, you have crazy people here that do this, and she did see them brought to justice. So yeah, I mean, there you have it. That's the case. And the mother, beyond just sending those letters, she also would stand outside places, the courthouse, I don't know, or the governor's office, and have picket signs saying missing, have you seen my son, and things like that. So she was constantly doing things to try to get justice for her son. And interesting note, there was no tangible evidence, nothing, to connect Denise to this except what Brian Winchester gave them. That's another thing. You see what I mean? So when you guys say, well, yes, anytime that there's suspicion on something, even if there wasn't suspicion, but there's new evidence brought to light, someone's going to talk, someone's going to say something, a case can be opened. And I have another cold case that was opened on the death of a wife. You know what I think I'll do? Depending on what you guys say to me, whether you want me to do question and answers after videos, or you'd rather have me save those for a live, you have to let me know. And here comes the fortnight, okay? So let me just go over, since it is Valentine's Day, I feel badly waiting on the Valentine's Day murder case for you guys. And this is a case where it has a lot of twists and turns. So anyway, we have Curtis and Corey. So we have Curtis and... The door over here, please. There. So we have Curtis and Corey. And let's see here. Let me get my notes on this one here. Okay, this case is a case of the Lovelaces. And there's a lot of irony in that, and especially since the case took place on, okay, do we make any more noise? The case took place on Valentine's Day. Okay, so we have Curtis Lovelace and we have Corey Lovelace. Corey was 38. This was is there something? Oh, here's, I think that's what I'm looking for. No, I'm not. Okay, are you done now? Okay, try to be quiet because I'm trying to record something so that I'm not here all day. So on Valentine's Day in 2006, in the small town of Quincy, Illinois, we have a prosecutor, Curtis Lovelace. He was a crusader for justice. He was a pillar in the community. He was an Army National Guardsman. He was a former football hero, and now he was the assistant state attorney. And he's a giant in this small town, okay? He's married to Corey Lovelace, 38 years old. Corey went from being, you know, the cheerleader to being a daily drinker. Okay, she's drinking heavily, very heavily. And she's in the grips of addiction. But Curtis is not far behind because he's a pretty big drinker too. So we have, you know, two big drinkers. They married, you know, they have 4 kids. They take the nice picture in front of the John Deere lawnmower, but what's really going on behind those doors? We find out that there is a lot going on there. They're living just above the poverty line. And on Valentine's Day, Curtis gets up and drives the kids to school, where he says the kids remember their mother being up making sure they had their Valentine notes and making sure that they had jeans out of the dryer and things like that. But when he arrives home, he finds her dead in the bed. So he calls them in and they come in, and there's some things like she has a bruise inside of her lip, she has a bruise on the outside, and that could be something with smothering or whatever. But when the pathologist examines her, her liver is so shot. It's got an extremely fatty liver. It's riddled with the disease of alcoholism. So they're thinking, probably this. So her death was officially undetermined, but life went on, okay? Life went on for the prosecutor. The prosecutor's going on with the 4 kids, and it isn't long before he starts dating again about 6 months later. He doesn't have the best choice, okay? And he marries someone, but that marriage really doesn't last long. It's pretty bad. Lots of turmoil in it, lots of complete turmoil in it. And she will later testify for the prosecution as somebody who's very abusive in the marriage. He gets divorced from that wife and starts dating again. But this time he meets a woman named Christine, and things seem good with them. He's working, and one day there's a new investigator on the case, looking through some cold case files. He's brand new set of eyes, fresh set of eyes on this case, and he's saying something's not adding up. These bruises you've got, something's just not adding up on this case. So he takes the case and he gives it to a pathologist, and the pathologist comes back. She says, no, she tells him, I don't feel that this is a homicide at all. I feel that, this is due to the liver. And she goes on and she just negates what he thought she would say. So at this point, he doesn't really want to even get the report. So he just tells her, send back the file. But she, I guess, wants to get credit for doing what she did. So she draws something up that says essentially, I agree that this is not a homicide, and I don't think this warrants anything else. But this investigator's not convinced. So he finds 2 other very well-known pathologists and he sends it out to them, and they come out with the same thing, not a homicide. He's still not going to let it rest. So he finds number 4 and number 5 pathologist, and he sends it out. Now we have ones that say, yes, this could be smothering or asphyxiation and has the signs for this. It was enough to indict Mr. Curtis Lovelace. Now, Christine Lovelace, his 3rd wife, is working in a pet store. That morning, Mr. Curtis Lovelace dropped her off at the pet store and apparently told her that he would see her later on for lunch. But she didn't hear from him in the morning. She didn't think it was too strange because he had a busy day. He had a lot of clients and things. But when she couldn't he didn't hear from him or get a hold of him around lunchtime, she started to get a little worried. She found out that he was coming out of his law office around lunchtime, and he was met by some men in cuffs, and they arrested him for the first-degree murder of his wife. Anyway, apparently he was being interrogated. He thinks that it's his current wife that's been killed, until they tell him what's going on. And apparently Christine is saying, oh, well, I'm his wife, so when he was arrested on that, he thought something happened to me. I'm like, really? Okay. So she's all like, he didn't murder her. And he had 3 sons and a daughter. The daughter was the oldest with Corey. So there's a trial. Now, the story had been that the kids had seen Corey up and about when their father was getting ready to take them to school. But now, when the daughter takes the stand, as a surprise to both the prosecution and the defense, the daughter says she can't recall seeing the mother. Not that she definitely didn't see the mother, she just can't remember it now. She's not sure of it now. Okay. So she's not sure of it now. And the defense team brings back those 3 other pathologists who all say it's not a homicide. And, well, the jury goes out, and Christina's sure that when the jury, she's called back in after, it was not long, I think it was 2 days, the jury comes back, and she was so sure that, you know, that he was going home that night, and they were going to have breakfast as a family the next day. Breakfast as a family next day. Should I make French toast or pancakes? Well, she didn't have to worry about it because he didn't go home. It was a hung jury, 6 against 6. And he said, I'm not coming home.
We rushed to the courthouse, everyone in tow, all of our loved ones. And when I walked into the courthouse, I had to go through security, and they whisked me away. And they took me up into a room where they told me I wouldn't be able to touch or do anything else, which confused me, but made me think that my husband was going to be on the other side of the door. And I don't think I've ever been so nervous in my life. They opened the door and I walked in, and there was my husband, the attorneys, and 2 bailiffs. And they had me sit down, and that's when my husband told me that he would not be coming home that night. I literally had to stand up and start pacing because I couldn't believe that I was so afraid of what the next words were going to be. And so I walked for a minute, and then I sat back down, and then my husband couldn't say anything anymore. And so Jay Elmore let me know that there was a hung jury and what that exactly meant. So then they took me into the courtroom. Then the jury filed in, and then they brought my husband in, and they sat at the defense table. And then the judge spoke with the jury, who did say that they could not reach a decision. The judge certified a hung jury, got the approval of that from both parties, and Mr. Parkinson said that he was unfortunately going to have to retry the case. I'm paraphrasing, but then the next several minutes are quite a blur because it was then real, and my husband wasn't coming home, and the kids' father wasn't coming home, and everything that we thought was going to happen that night and the next morning no longer existed. And I felt so empty and out of breath. And the only thing I knew to do was to hug my kids and let them know that it was going to be okay, and it is going to be okay. We will continue to fight, and I refuse to let my husband be placed in a jail for something that he didn't do and a crime that was never committed.
They take him away, and you know, not only did Corey, the wife, his first wife that was dead in her bed, she also had an eating disorder. And there were friends saying, you know, she wasn't looking good. She was drinking heavily, and she had this eating disorder. She was very, very thin. Now, those 3 pathologists were all saying that, yeah, it looks like that's what it is. But yet, they said undetermined, right? The first one did, at least. The second 2 said no, it wasn't a homicide. But anyway, their marriage also wasn't very happy, okay? And they were living just above the poverty line, so they had money troubles. Yeah. They were constantly fighting, and so he's got this mistrial, right? Now, 2017, they have a new trial. But this time they bring the second wife back, and the second wife is on the stand there just talking about how abusive he is, which the defense says is a complete lie, you know, complete lie. And he's got new defense lawyers, okay? But they acquitted him on March 10th, 2017. He's acquitted. He's a free man now. And even though they brought the second wife back and she's saying all this stuff about him being abusive, even though they have the two pathologists that say, you know, this looks like asphyxiation and it has characteristics of asphyxiation, they have 3 that are saying, no, this looks like fatty liver disease and an eating disorder. And so he's acquitted. He's acquitted. And now he's rebuilding his life with Christine. And that is your Valentine's Day alleged murder turned acquittal story. Not a very romantic one, unless you're looking at his 3rd marriage, which I'm sure he's probably buying her roses today if their finances are straightened out. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe he just has to make a card out of construction paper or something. So it's a thought that count. Actually, it's probably more thoughtful because he put more time in the construction paper card and everything than just to buy the roses. But she, you know, probably wants the roses. I don't know what she wants. Who knows? There goes my computer. But anyway, that's the piece I wanted to bring you for Valentine's Day. And I want to get this up for Valentine's Day and not have it go up tomorrow and then everybody says to me in the comments, Valentine's Day was yesterday. Flipping moron. Whenever that happens, guys, you can rest assured that I taped it on the correct day and it just didn't get uploaded because life gets in the way. Not that I'm really losing my mind that much that I don't know what day it is, even though I don't sometimes. Maybe until you guys tell me what you want to do with the questions, maybe I'll take 4. Look at this. This is good, right? I'll take 4 questions. What's wrong with this picture, guys? I'll take 4 questions today. See, I can poke fun at myself just as well as anybody else. Okay, let's see what you've got. I really hope they're not all the same. Please give me something different to work with here instead of the same NK question over and over and over and over again. Okay, my laptop doesn't want to play nice, so I have to restart my laptop. I had a viewer question about this, whether it was just a figurine or if it was a cookie jar. This is indeed... Oh, I see I'm answering the question. If it was a cookie jar, does his head come off? It is a cookie jar. His head comes off. And what, pray tell, is in there is a package of cookies. And this shows how much we use this, huh? This is called Bulldog. I think this is from Home Goods or TJ Maxx. It's from the UK. Oh boy, I hope I don't get... It says it's from the UK, but it's made in China. Okay, but you see, he's got the U. It's the UK. Oh no, am I gonna get in trouble now? Now she wishes she's from the UK. No, I don't. I just bought a bulldog because I have a bulldog. And okay, somebody asked me about it in the comments. Oh, look at this. Looky. There's another package of cookies up there. Okay, I better get those out because nobody probably knows they're there. But yes, that's my little bulldog. He is a cookie jar, but he's mostly used. Is that a little bulldog? I probably will put maybe the dog's treats in there or something. I don't know. What do you think? He is cute though, isn't he? I saw him and I couldn't resist it, and I try to not have too much stuff, but he was cute because he reminds me. My dog is white, just like this. And she's sleeping now, but my bulldog. 88 comments, by the way, on the book club thing. Okay, so Carrie Ann, I'm not even going to attempt that last name. The H, 2 Y's, 2 T's, IAINEN. Carrie Ann, you know who you are. Thank you for being you. Why? Thank you for letting me be you. Me. Yeah, whatever. Right? I don't know. I'm crazy. That's part of the real enjoyment of your show. I'm glad. You all had quite a laugh on those lives. Can you find out more about someone you know? Can you find out more about someone you know who? Writing the court? And apparently it's in the most recent documents regarding complaining. No. But I wrote this. It is in the recent documents. This is where I got it from. That's why I said I'm not doxing anyone or anything. It's right in those documents. Yeah, okay. So, regarding complaining about the Watts parents' lack of eligibility for visitation, I can't believe someone had the nerve to do so. I've seen the same YouTube channel had read telephone records of the Watts' parents talking to her for a huge block of time while CW was in North Carolina, and then also I can't find her phone records for that period of time, so I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know where they are. If anybody knows where her phone records are from July through August, because I only see the ones from August 21st on. I can't remember the channel. Well, this doesn't help us too much, Carrie Ann. I was so tired that night, and I never really thought how deceitful and conniving that was until a day later. And then you couldn't remember, obviously, Carrie Ann, right? You weren't drinking, were you, Carrie Ann? Have you thought of it now? Okay. Anyway, I understand that to be true, isn't that information distasteful and disturbing? I'm hoping I'm wrong. Are you usually wrong, Carrie Ann? Take care and have a successful evening. Thanks, Carrie Ann. Just joking about the drinking. Have you found out? I don't know. I don't know where the phone records are. I thought I had phone records at one time, and there were North Carolina numbers in there, but when I was talking to that other person that then had a problem with me the other day, that I totally misunderstood things, and Cindy is not going to make some big apology, or didn't say. I don't know what the exact wording was. I don't think there's any big apology coming from Cindy. I wouldn't be holding my breath on that. And I did mention at that time that there were North Carolina numbers that NK was calling, and she asked me to get the phone records. I did not have the phone records. So Carrie Ann, it's balls in your court. If you know where these phone records are, we need you to get them and let us know the numbers so that we can put a trace on them. Okay? And we'll find out if she was indeed calling over there for huge blocks of time. The lady that wrote the letter to the court, her name on there is Kay Almond, and she is, or was, this is so crazy, okay? There were 3 of them connected to that podcast, and 2 of them had the name Karen, okay? So we've got Karen, or Kay, the one that's doing the podcast. We have Karen Almond, who's they call Almond Joy with Mounds of Love, and then we had Jay, or I think her real name is Jessica. It looks like they've all turned on each other and gone their separate ways, okay? So I don't know what's going on there, but it's easy to mistake. It's the Karen Almond, not the Karen Critical, whatever she is. She's the furthest thing from a critical thinker that I could know. But it's the Kay Almond, the third wheel, the one that was in court. You know, she came on the podcast to give the court reporting. She was there while all of those hearings and everything was going on, the sentencing, the whole 9 yards. She was there, they had this person going back and forth to the court. She's the one that wrote the letter on behalf of Cindy. And then the three of these that have spent like 15 episodes ripping people, speculating, they did all that stuff for up to 16 podcasts. I think they were all together for 16. I know that the K and J were all together for 16, and then the Almond Joy, the one that wrote this thing, which you can see how freaking confusing this is. Everybody's got, two of them have the same name, and they all sound the same. They all sound the same, and they all do that laugh. I think so. It's the most crazy thing. But throughout those 16 episodes, none of them showed their face on the air. And Miss K still doesn't show her face and puts that she's either in, I don't know, Liverpool or the UK on her profile. I don't know. Everybody knows where she is. It's kind of crazy. But whatever it is, where was I going with this? Oh, so the letter, your question. So this was written by Kay Almond, but part of that podcast, until that podcast disbanded after the 16th episode. The 16th episode was their last episode, and I think they had some other thing on Periscope where it really broke up. I don't even know. I've never even been in Periscope in my life. So she cursed out Jay for selling the story to the Radar Online and thus alienating her from the Watts clan because they were so mad, and I guess she thought she'd never get back in their good graces, but apparently she did. She did. So the one that was in the courtroom, Karen Almond Joy, Mounds of Love, she's Watts aficionado, whatever, fan, I don't know, family member, I don't know what she is. She's the one that wrote the letter. And that's that original Murder Sesh podcast where she came back with a whole different take on everything that happened in that courtroom, and you can imagine the take. But yeah, so about that letter, I imagine also, believe me, I don't think the SWATs were clueless on that letter. I think, of course, they had to be talking to her by what she had in that letter. And yeah, they knew she was writing that letter. Whatever you got there. Let me know if you know. And then Carrie Ann, if you remember, if it comes back to you, you let me know. But that's Carrie Ann's question. So now, Judy Jones says, will the pregnancy of the Idaho nurse ultimately soften the judgment of her involvement? The pregnancy? I don't think so. I think it's going to come out the 19th as a motive for why Patrick was trying to button things down, because he didn't want to be paying child support and all this, or maybe it was the custody. I don't know. We'll have to see the 19th. It's way, way too early for this. And I truly don't think she's going to get any jail time anyway. I know some of you were thinking she's going to get like the maximum 3 years. She's not, because if she fries this big fish, she's going off into the sunset. She's going to go off into the sunset on her pony. That's my belief. If she gets them the goods they need, that's good. That's going to be it. That's the price they had to pay. All right. So that was Judy Jones, and then so that's 2 questions, and that's 2 questions. What is wrong with me today? That's 2 questions, and so we have 2 more. Let's see what we have here. Christy Lynn, she looks like she needs help because she said, "Mommy," with like 5 M's and 4 Y's. So I think she needs help here, guys. I tried to ask a question in the live chat this morning, but it was going too fast, and then you froze. Oh, I'm sorry. So there's a channel, I think it's called Zen Girl, and she was reading a letter written to CW in prison. It was from that friend of CW's, the one that was saying Shanann probably took off. Yeah, Dave Colon. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've read that letter. No, I've read his interview. Yes, his letter was in there, but I think I discussed that, at least. I'm sure that I did. And I think I answered this question in the comments for you because you were so upset that you didn't get to ask it. Okay, anyway, let's see what else she has to say. Shouldn't cut her off. The one that was saying Shanann probably took off and how he felt like she had to make up her illnesses. Nick, Dave, I think you've got them a little. You think you've got a little Jeremy in there. You've got a little bit Jeremy. You've got a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. She's got a little bit Jeremy into Dave Cologne. Okay. Anyway, you got to hear it. I want to know if it's real. Okay, I've already heard it. And, you know, the other night, somebody was like, oh my gosh, did you hear these new texts? You guys do realize there's nothing's new been released. It's all in the discovery. So even if somebody puts on a channel, like these are new texts or this is like earth-shattering information, it's not. It's in there. This letter's in there. About him visiting, yeah, he's a good guy. I know I went over this, okay? I went over the interview. That's why I have to index my videos, because nobody ever remembers, and then someone does it, and they're like, oh, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, I did that. You weren't paying attention that day in class. I read you the Dave Cologne interview. And then I read to you when the investigators called him back for another interview. And the reason they called him back is because of this letter. Okay? It's because of this letter. And just so, let me see if I can just pull up this letter really fast for you guys, since everybody's going to be like, what letter? I don't remember that. I wasn't paying attention in class either. Okay. Sorry, I was daydreaming. Okay. So they called him back because of this letter, because some things that he wrote in this letter just didn't jive with his first interview. So they called him back, and I read you guys the second interview, and then after the second interview, you know, he explained whatever it was that was concerning them. And it was about, I believe, Shanann. Because yes, he did. He also said some things about Shanann, of her being overbearing. Do you guys remember this now? In the interviews, and Jeremy did too. But I think you have Jeremy and Dave, and I mean with good reason, because Jeremy and Dave, they did go over the night together. So we had two guys that were saying all this stuff over there together, and Jeremy's interview was a lot longer. But let me just pull this up here. Okay, well, let me do it again for those that weren't paying attention in class or maybe missed that class. Chris, I'm writing you this letter to possibly come visit. A lot of people are very curious and confused, but I am much more than that. You're a very good friend, and I really thought you could have come to talk to me. I have been through divorce and tough relationships in the past. I really could have helped you, I think. Per our conversation, August 13th at your house, on that night, I totally understood your situation. Well, at least what I thought was your situation. See, they wanted him to clarify a lot of this jargon. I know Shanann was hard on you, and so did everybody else, according to Mr. Cologne. But dude, and she wonders, and she takes offense at the term skater boy, when one of his best friends, but dude, okay, but dude, you could have done 1,000 things. But dude, you could have done 1,000 things different. I know you're probably reflecting this by now, but still, it tore me up to think that you couldn't reach out to me, dude. No, he didn't say dude in that time, but to think that you couldn't reach out to me. I added the dude. The CBI came to my work, BCSO, that's the sheriff's office, okay? to interview me. I told them how great of a dude you are. He actually said how great of a dude you are. But he's not a skater boy. You would help anybody and were a great father. I also told them how overbearing Shanann could be, and that there is no way you had anything to do with their disappearance. People were saying from your TV interviews, that guy is guilty. That was me. I was saying that. I was telling them, that guy he did it. Mark my words. I would stand up for you and say, you don't know Chris. He has always been a mild-mannered guy. Come to think of it, I don't remember you getting mad, yelling, cussing, or anything. I do remember watching you take the girls in their wagon up and down the street, and Caden says he remembers riding his bike and would stop and talk to you. He always said, Chris is so nice, Dad. Ellie did like to babysit for you guys as well. Annie was completely on your side, buddy. Chris said, Chris, I always liked talking sports and cars with you, and still remember the first day we met at LF, that's Longmont Ford. I was happy to see another guy from the South that loved the ACC. Hell, I was excited to tell you about the land I just bought down in Florida, and you guys, especially you, were always invited. We helped each other move into the neighborhood and became, I think, very good friends. I know both families were very busy and time was hard to find sometimes, but I would have always made time for you. Seriously, dude, I would have. And I hope you know that. This is part of why I'm writing you today. I called the WCSO and they said, I need to write a letter to you to get on your visitors list with your approval. I know you think the world probably hates you, and honestly, I think most do. That's just great. I think you know the world probably hates you, and I think most do. Like, the way this whole letter went and the way this guy is like just kissing up to him, you would expect him to be like, I know you think the world still hates you, but dude, there's so many of us still holding out hope for you. But he doesn't. And honestly, I think most do. But there are some of us, he's going to come through now a little bit now, okay? But there are some of us that know the real Chris Watts. I would like to come see you. In closing, my friend, I am still confused and upset about this tragic event. Annie and I flew to North Carolina for the funeral. I tell you that it was very well done, and believe it or not, peaceful. What does that mean, Cologne? Believe it or not. That's such a that's like smacking that guy across the face. Such a backhanded comment at the Ruzaks. Maybe it was so peaceful because the Watts didn't go. Maybe, is that what you were expecting? But no, I don't think that's what he was doing. I think, believe it or not, peaceful, because he's trying to say Shanann's overbearing family, just like she was overbearing, throwing this off. And what did he think? What a jerk. What a jerk. Isn't he a jerk? He's a jerk. What a jerk. And the Wattses didn't go to the funeral. Nice, right? Maybe if they had a phone call, they would have gone. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? This guy's he's a jerk. Did I get this worked up about it? He's a jerk. Whatever. And even though we went to pay respects, why else did you go to the funeral? What are you going for the funeral? To pay your respects to the family, and out of respect for the victims, in this case, in regular funerals, out of respect for the person that's passed away, But what? Some people you can't figure out, but this is like too much. So he says, even though we went to pay our respects, I could not stop thinking of you the entire time. So he's there, you know, all this is going on, and all he's thinking is of Chris. And believe me, he's not thinking of Chris probably in a way like, who knows how he's thinking, but I'm having a hard time thinking that he's thinking of Chris in a way that, I don't think he's thinking like this monster, look, he took these 4 lives, look at everybody's mourning over them, why didn't he do something? He's making it sound here like he was thinking of him, you know? I don't know. I think if he's at the funeral, he should try to be thinking of the 4 lives there. Anyway. So, let's see. I could not stop thinking of you the entire time. We even went to Fayetteville, not realizing that was your hometown. We went to visit a few things, like the Special Operations Museum. Being I was in that world for many years, I wanted to go see it. Well, enough said, I guess, but I hope you would like to chat and want to see me as a visitor. I'm not judging you or anything like that. God bless, my friend. And wish you well. And wish you well as can be expected. Dave Cologne. Okay. That's the letter. It was... Oh, okay. It was postmarked the 12th of October. So, yeah. So this is months later, and this is what Mr. Cologne is saying. But that is what we did discuss. And now that I've rewound class, I can't remember what question I was on. So there we go. Who was that asked me that question? Who asked me that question? Let's see. Oh, was it? Oh, it was the one that Christy Lynn that said, Mommy! Okay. So there it is. So, okay. So, let's see where she was. Anyway, oh, you got to hear it. We went through that. I did hear it, and I read it to you guys, too. I want to hear if it's real. It's real. It's real. Okay. And how, yeah, so you heard it now. It is real. And I did a refresh. It's like when the teacher comes in to review for the quiz. And she's like, oh, we covered this, remember? And then you're like, we did? I must have been out that day. Whew. I'm glad we're going over this. Yeah. So this is a review. I know I pack a lot into my videos. There are some channels that come on like for one thing. Like, you know, oh, I've got this one text. But I know, maybe I overwhelm you guys with too much information. I never feel like there's enough information, but maybe I overwhelm you, and then you tune me out, and you're passing notes amongst yourselves, and then you don't remember. Maybe I need to review information. But yes, I did cover this, and I will get that video indexed so I can just tell you which video it is, because I do. You never know what you're going to get in my videos. It could say 3 different things on the outside, but it could have like 4 other cases inside. Okay, let's go to another question. Now, that was 2 questions, so this is the 3rd question, I think. If not, you're going to get an extra one. Okay, Margot's got something very long here, and she says, I personally am, at this point, most interested in unsolved or the cases which are more questionable and highly debatable. Right now, I'm fixated on Darlie Routier because I just finished watching The Last Defense. I did watch The Last Defense, and I go back and forth on her guilt. The forensic evidence had led me in the past to believe she's guilty, but much of it was blown apart in this docuseries. Her 911 call sounded authentic to me, and I don't see a killer when I watch her interviews. Most people feel one way versus another. I just can't wrap my head around this one. With that said, I realize most people are still fixated, as I was on the Watts case. Yes, they are, even when I'm discussing other cases. So perhaps this should be saved for a different time. Well, Margot, now that I've read the question, It's okay. We'll do it now. Another story. Oh, wait a minute. There is no... Oh, okay. So she just... Okay, so Margot was just writing that out, and then she's like, nah. I'll just leave the beginning and thinking there's a question, and then I'll just change my mind at the end. But now let's see if you gave me another question at least after reading that. Another story I started looking into is the Amanda Knox case. I never paid attention at the time it occurred, but my mother did, and feels she's innocent. When I look at her, from merely a superficial standpoint, I see a killer. Probably safe to say that your mother and yourself, you're probably at the point where you're like, oh, I don't know. Your mother's probably, I don't know what to do with Margot. I say black, and Margot says white. I'm just kidding. Believe me, I went through a stage like that with my daughter. Sometimes it still happens. Okay. I told my daughter about that. Told her the other night, yesterday. When was it when she called me? I said, you know, you said go easy on those people in that abducted in plain sight. But I said a lot of people said. I said, you watch the whole thing all the way through? Yeah. You still feel the way? Not so much. A little bit. Okay, should we just go easy on them? Okay. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Whatevs. Okay, so we would be curious to hear your take on it, and after we've all had enough of the Watts case. And Margot, when would that be that we all had enough of the Watts case? Can't see that coming anytime soon, not from the conversations around in here, but okay. The Amanda Knox case, I did watch the documentaries and everything on it. I don't know. I mean, I think that she wasn't very likable. And sometimes when somebody's not very likable, they're not doing themselves any favors. And being that she killed someone that was very likable, allegedly, no, that didn't come out well. Being that she was charged with killing someone that was very likable, and she wasn't very likable to most people that watched it. Maybe some liked her. I think the majority didn't like her. I don't know. You guys can. I think that didn't do her any favors, you know, because if somebody's just like not a nice person, or maybe it reminds you of the Mean Girls in high school. So maybe Margot, you know, sometimes that can happen, because it's happened to me once, way long ago, when I was probably my very early 20s. There was some case, and the girl just looked like somebody, or girls that I knew that were just, and I couldn't help it. Like, I don't know what it was. There was just like a bias. Maybe you're looking at her and you're like, you know what? You love that girl that was moving in on my guy. And I just look at you. You look like a killer to me. Could be something like that. Or it could be that you really do see a killer. You could, you know, maybe you see a killer. I don't know. You have killer detection. I don't know, Margot. It's your mom and you were probably battling, like, I think she's innocent. I think she's a killer, Mom. Why do you say that, Margot? Why do you always have to say that, Margot? She's a very nice girl. Mom, I don't think so. Margot. Okay. Would be curious to hear your take after. So you don't even want the answer from me now? So you mean now, well, that's for naught? Okay. I know how you operate now, Margot. I'm watching you. Okay, anyway. All right, so Margot really didn't want an answer, and she said I can wait and give her the answers after we've all had enough of the Watts case, which would probably be, I don't know, when we're all past YouTube and we're on to some like Jetson thing. I don't know. Who knows? All right, so that counted as question 3 anyway. We got one more question. You guys better come up with some more questions, because you're slacking. You're slacking on questions. Watch us slackers. Deb Smith says, do I know who has Shanann's wedding ring? Do I know for certain? No, but I imagine the Rusacks have her wedding ring along with other personal things that they've taken. I know that Frank Sr. was put in charge of her, personal affairs and things like that. You can look at those, they're in the court records. But yeah, I would imagine that her mother and father have her wedding ring. Okay, that's number 4. And I'm going to let you go because I want to see if I can edit this and get this up in a timely fashion so you all don't tell me, Valentine's Day was yesterday. You're a day behind. Okay, and let me know, don't forget to answer those questions that I asked you about the book club, about the live, if you'd rather do it just for question. Let me know. But I really don't think you see how I came unglued here? You expect me to do this on a live? I can't. I pack too much stuff in these episodes. I'm an overachiever. I am. I always was. But then I feel bad. I'm like, oh, did I give them enough? Over here at Mommy Ramblings. What was that commercial? There's some commercial. We just go to a higher standard. Was it Breakstone? Was it Breakstone cottage cheese? Which was the one? They said over. We just bring it to a higher. No, it's not. Now it's going to drive me nuts. Oh, it's a Hebrew National. Hebrew National hot dogs. Yeah, we answer to a higher standard. So, over here at Mommy Ramblings, we hold ourselves to a higher standard of true crime. Facts, not fluff. It doesn't add up. And now by tomorrow, we'll see what that will bring. Happy Valentine's Day. If you don't have a significant other in your life, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy Valentine's Day or you have to be depressed or eat 18 gallons of ice cream. Show that love to anyone. Take that to anyone. Go to a nursing home. Go to, do something nice for your grandparents or your neighbor next door that might be feeling left out anyway. Who knows? You might find love on the way, but even if you don't, it doesn't mean you're not a good person. Okay, there's a lot of people that don't have anyone significant in their lives. Just ask my 3 older kids who are in the middle of the dating madness. Okay, anyway. But yeah, you don't have to feel bad or anything about yourselves. And you know what? To make you feel good, I am going to try to get the blooper here, and that should all make you laugh. And then I'll tell you that Cher was her roommates, who was crazy at the time, but I didn't say that. And it was like a $400 chair from somewhere, and my daughter you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, how do you even broke that chair? She's like, oh, I just gave her $400 because I just don't want to, I just want to keep the peace. I'm like, really? And then she left like a month later because she thought the girl was going to kill her. She seriously had to lock her bedroom door because the girl was drinking heavily. And she was like my age. I'm joking, okay? Because my daughter brought her up once. She was like, oh, I have so much in common with you. We're only a couple of years apart. I'm like, oh, okay, great. My daughter's had some really whacked up friends. She had a friend up. No. She kept telling me about this friend. Oh, it's this one. I said, what is she doing? I said, I don't know. And yeah, oh, no. The girl was sending her, it was like sending her like shortbread cookies all the time, and then telling her, I was like, what's she sending all the shortbread cookies for? It sounds like, be careful. She might have like weight gain powder in those and stuff. It's odd. And she's like, yeah, no, that's all right. And then anytime my daughter had a boyfriend at the time, she'd go, you don't need him. It's like, and it was like real single white female kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah. But it took my daughter a long time to realize that. And then she'll eventually come in and say, yeah, you were right about it. I'm like, oh no, I only told you that 47 times. The other day she just told me I was right about something else. And even her friend Ayla said, hi Ayla, if Ayla's watching, because Ayla knows about my channel. Hi Ayla. Ayla said, oh, I saw the screenshot of what you told her. You're right on the money, Mommy Ramblings. And that Mommy Ramblings right on the money. But my own daughter doesn't appreciate it until after the fact. After the fact. Anyway. Yeah. Where was I going with this? Oh, the chair. You see? I do remember. So I was like to my daughter, come on, this is crazy. And I do want to keep the peace, Mom. So yeah, she just, kept the peace, got the chair, and then she ended up moving out like the next month. Because the girl said, well, I'll go a little bit in with you because you're going to be using the chair anyway. It's in the living room. And my daughter left, and I'm like, should have taken the chair because my daughter paid for like the majority of that chair. And the other one that was broken wasn't a brand new chair. So, I mean, what does she think? This goes up in value? Whatever. My daughter just do that. She just do anything to keep the peace there. Okay, so, yeah. She had to lock the bedroom. She's like, I thought she was going to kill me. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's about it. I don't know what else to say. That's about it. So happy Valentine's Day. Don't get stressed out if you don't have a significant other. Go out and do something nice for yourself. Go out and do something nice for someone else that might be alone. Maybe call a friend or something. Call your grandma. Call your mom. I should end every call that. Don't forget, call your mom. And then I know people don't have moms. I don't have a mom anymore, so believe me, nobody knows that more than me. So call your mom. Then I have to make a disclaimer then. Call your mom if you have a mom. And if you don't have a mom, call someone else. That doesn't sound good though. I can't do that. I don't want to make anybody upset because it's very easy to get upset at things like the Mother's Day and stuff when you don't have a mom anymore. So, to think of something else. It'd be nice though to have a little closing line like, Mommy Rambling said. Maybe I should give a little small line of wisdom out. Like that. Control your kid. No, a little line of wisdom out at the end, like Mommy Rambling says. Have you done something nice for someone today? No. What does Mommy Rambling say? Anyway, maybe I was like, who's your true crime mommy? Who knows? We just said like, you are okay. Nobody knows crime like Mommy. All right, my camera ended anyway. It just stopped. The battery died, so I had to go back just to say goodbye to you because that's how much I put into this. My blood, my sweat, my tears. See, then I'm not the real Italian mother with the guilt, I put my blood, my sweat, and my tears in this. Nobody appreciates me. No. I get told I'm copying. Anyway, guys, you all have a good one, and anyone that's not feeling well, under the weather, had surgery, is recovering, then I forgot. I will say a collective prayer for all of you. So I'll cover all the bases there, okay? I got you. If I forgot your name, I got you. You're still there. But everybody have a good one. And I will talk to you all later. I do have a rose giveaway going on if you want to enter that. You just go to the blog to enter that. And those have asked, I'm trying to share your blog. Let me just answer this because I've gotten a lot of emails on this. I'm trying to share your blog on Facebook, and it's telling me that it goes against their community standards. Now, would you imagine this, right? Porn going into, you ever see those whatever, any kind of group, and all of a sudden you see like a porn message? That goes past their community standards, right? But a family lifestyle blog, almost a decade old, suddenly, after having its own Facebook page there for almost a decade, in December, I couldn't post anything like I have normally. It kept saying, oh, this post is against community standards. If you feel this is an error, report it. Now, normally when anything like that has ever happened, you report it within a day or two, everything's fine. I have been reporting this since December. They have not fixed it. I have written some strongly worded letters when I've reported this. My blog followers have written some strongly worded letters regarding this, and none of us have gotten a response. And yet, anytime someone tries to share the Mommy Ramblings link, you get that disclaimer. I've tried everything to rectify it. I've Googled all of this. I've done everything that could possibly be done. If anybody knows something else, let me know. But it is telling me that my link is against the community standards. I've never spammed. I've never sent 80 million messages with it. I've done the same thing that I've done for 10 years. If I have a giveaway, I publish the blog post, it publishes to my Facebook account. But no one can even share, like, on Facebook with that link. mommyramblings.org, apparently they think it's against their community standards, which is a total lie. But I don't know. I don't get too stressed about it because there's lots of other social media that doesn't ban. I'm just infuriated because, yeah, like all these really disgusting sites, they're okay. Yeah, let them go by. It's like Craigslist. Have you ever? Don't you dare try to sell a puppy on Craigslist. You're a breeder? Get the freak off Craigslist. Get off Craigslist now. You're trying to sell sex? Okay, go ahead. You want threesome for your wife and you're gonna, okay, yep, those ads go. Don't you dare post a direct sales option. Don't you dare. You're an escort? Go ahead. That goes. It's like, I don't know what is going on, right? Have you guys noticed that? Some of the stuff going on Craigslist is okay, but don't you dare post that you have poodle puppies for sale. That's against their standards, and they have high standards. You're an escort? Oh, go ahead. And I'm saying that nicely because this stuff is not, you can't even believe some of the stuff that's posted on there. Okay? Oh, you're looking for somebody to come in with your wife while you watch? Oh yeah, sure. You can post, I don't care if you post a day one of those ads every day. Go ahead. 3 a day, go ahead. Don't you dare post that poodle for sale. Don't you dare. You want to post an ad for your 31 business? Nope. No. That is against our standards. That's against our standards. Same thing with Facebook now. It's crazy. We are having a giveaway. So, and that giveaway is run by Catholic Central. Even though our blog is banned, their Catholic Central is still, I guess we have something so bad on our blog, we don't. It's a total family lifestyle blog. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Happy Valentine's Day, and talk to you later. Let me know about the questions I asked, because I don't even remember what they are, but if you rewind it, and what did Mommy want to know? All right. Thanks for your support. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. I'd love to see how many thumbs up I can get. And if you're not a subscriber, you really should subscribe. You're missing out. Part of Mommy's family. We're all family at Mommy's, right? We should be. So I need the little tagline for my website. It's like True Crime Chat with Mommy Ramblings. Or let's talk crime. No, something about us all being family here. Everyone's family. I don't know. You want to think of a tagline? I'm trying to think. Let's talk crime with Mommy, where everyone's family. I don't know. I need something catchy. It's just not catchy enough. You guys think catchy? I don't know. I gotta go. I have to go. You guys are keeping me here, and I have to go. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.